according to this value chart, $100 bill is more valuable than a dollar, based upon the one who's in fear. But the one who's in love can do more with a dollar, just as much with a dollar than they can with $100. The person said that's impossible. So that's to let you know how the soul, your individual, if you believe that that's impossible, that's how you believe that that's how in debt your soul is to fear and death. You can't see past what you see. In other words, you only go by what you know, but what you know is not eternal. Eternity constantly keeps turning over. Eternity constantly reproduce and produce things that never been done before. And if your mind, your will, emotion, intellect, and imagination is not on one accord with that, not just by hearing it and you agree with it, but by your lifestyle actually seeing the demonstrations of it, and therefore you are still serving a debt to death. And you're going to work that debt until it's paid. It's coming for your good resources. It doesn't care about your money. A bank, for example, the bank doesn't care about your money. They care about you slaving for them to make a harvest for someone else that they're going to serve. If you get a loan back, I mean, if you apply for a loan, they say, well, say like the loan is for 6 months. Do they want you to pay it back as soon as you get it? No, they want you to pay it for the 6 months or even longer. Why? Because it builds up interest. The interest actually is the sweat that you're working for it. It's not the money. It's the sweat and labor that they own you. Money is a spirit. Money is not physical. It's a spirit. Those who watch it is maybe physical, but the spirit of the money, the love of the money is inside that vessel that's watching it. It's there to keep you in torment. It's there to keep you in fear. So somebody may say like, well, finances bring forth divorce. Or they say infidelity. They say all the different things, but those are out. All those things are outside the circle of love. Inside the circle of love, we just showed it, or we just say it again. Inside the circle of love, you got hope, you got joy, you got peace. All that is righteousness. All that is faith, right? All that's the spirit of God. All that comes from the eternity. Within that, you could always see something new. Outside of that, you don't see anything new. All right. Now, love is patient, love is kind, love is true, love is pure, love is honest. Love is all that, right? So if love is going to be on that foundation, this is what Jesus comes to bring forth to a soul who is without that. And until that soul is rededicated back to that and is as its rightful place where it belongs to be. In other words, God the Father said, I'm so in love with you, I have not given up on the fact that your soul deserves to be whole, healthy. Now, this is where the devil will come in and say healthy is frowned upon. It's just like when our parents used to bring forth the vegetables versus going to go get some ice cream. You know what I mean? Say like you eat, you hungry, and the child says like, hey, mom, dad, look, I want some ice cream for dinner. They're like, that's not healthy. And they say like, we're gonna have some vegetables because the vegetables are gonna be healthy. So this is where the person really don't want to be holy because they don't want nothing that's healthy. They want something that actually want to destroy them because they are holding unhealth inside of them. They are holding death inside of them. Until that death is paid, they will walk. Whatever that they do is going to fall apart. This is where you get the person who attempts to work out, the person who attempts to do good. It's an attempt. It's not something that can sustain because there's death there. Until that is removed, you will be drawn to an unhealthy situation. You will be driven to an unhealthy situation. You will be compelled to be around an unhealthy situation. That's where from the entertainment, the television, the conversation, this is from the average communication with the person. This is where all you will be is a magnet. You can't help but to be around it. You can try to walk away from it, but nonetheless, it always gets your attention with the curiosity thing because you are still in connection to it. Until that umbilical cord is cut between you and death itself, is going to continue to draw you back to whatever. This is why when a person comes to God and they start off on fire and they hot, they praising God, they in it. That God is the first thing in the morning, the last thing in the morning. They own it, but their fire starts to dwell because they're not getting the resources to sustain the life. They're not connected to that resources, but the world has infiltrated through some way. Somehow it has caught their attention. And 10 times out of 10, why a marriage goes into a divorce is because of this reason. The outside came in. Either the outside was already inside one vessel or the other or both vessels, or at some point the outside was able to influence through an outlet, maybe through a person that they trust, a person, so forth, and whatever. Evil does not have a discrepancy of who it's going to use or who it can use. If you're willing to listen to it, it can use you as a soldier, as a template, or as a mouthpiece to infuse what corruption. So this is how we get those divorces inside the situation. But according to those who, if you read the law, whatever, if you up under the law, they can write a bill of divorce, right? But Jesus came back with this because Jesus is offering us what? Wholeness. He offered us holiness. In other words, he offered us the Spirit of God. So he goes on to say, they asked him about how they feel about divorcement because back when they was doing up under the law, they took the divorcement as a way to get rid of something that was considered old for something that's new. If they was married for a long time, say they was married for like 40 years, whatever, and they see some vibrant young, or vibrant whatever, they want to exchange it for something young. But love was never there, correct? Because if love was there, all you see is youth. Because love constantly regenerates. This is what God was doing with Abraham or Abram. He told Abram that you being 90 years old, whatever, being 100 or Sarah being 90, you're gonna have children. You're gonna have a child. Of course, she laughed at it, and he kind of balked at it too. Like, how can I? And I'm dead. And the womb of Sarah's womb is considered dead too. I mean, they passed the age of reproduction. So God said, I'm going to introduce you to the kingdom of heaven. At that, remember, they are children of Adam. They're not children of. Let's say it again. They are children of the fallen Adam, the disobedience of Adam. They are up under that dispensation. They are up under that covering. So they can't see impossibility. They can't see it. They only can see what they have seen, what they have known from others before them. But eternity has no end. It always plans something new. So Jesus said, well, Jehovah said unto Abram, you're gonna bear a child. I'm gonna bring life to the deadness of your womb. So I'm gonna go past what you see. In other words, I'm going to bring you eternal life to you. I'm going to do the impossible. I'm going to conquer what? Death. And if God hasn't conquered death in an individual, that marriage can't survive. And that's the reason why the cause of divorce, death, is there. You can't convince the other partner, the other person, to walk in life. That's a choice. Only thing you could do